rammed into the World Trade Center, and it must have been it must have been quite a sight for him and quite an experience.
So Jim,
I'm told Mario Bosques, excuse me, Rosanna, but I'm told Mario Bosques is on the phone from Beth Israel Hospital. Mario?
Hello, Jim. I'm at Beth Israel Medical Center, as you said, in downtown Manhattan. On the east side, is along with Bellevue Medical Center, has become a staging area to receive the injured, the victims from, of course, the World Trade Center situation, the tragedy that took place there. We are seeing many ambulances pulling up with people coming on wheelchairs and stretchers, bandaged about the head and arms and legs. They don't appear at this point to be major injuries, but they appear to be stunned as they're taken out of the hospital, out of the ambulance into the hospital. We understand Bellevue at this point is also receiving people, doing triage there as well. Again, Beth Israel and Bellevue taking in victims apparently from the World Trade Center. In addition, Jim, people on the streets, I can tell you, along First Avenue walking around totally stunned. The TV sets in some shops are turned on loud, pointed out toward the streets as people come out of their apartments to watch these developments as they unfold. But again, at Beth Israel, they have many ambulances that are standing by to go to the area. We also understand Beekman Hospital is where many of the injured. I was running my way there to try to get coverage there when I stopped at Beth Israel to get the situation here. And as you might imagine, medical personnel are running around the area preparing to take in more victims.
I'm sure they will. By the way, I should tell the viewers, Mario, that you're looking at the picture on Fox News channel. They have a reporter on the ground. Perhaps we could listen to that interview.
It's in the World Financial Center. Right across the street. World Financial Center is right across the street from the Marriott Hotel. And when we were walking by, you look at the Marriott Hotel, I don't even think it's there anymore. So,
well, I don't know what else to ask you. I mean, it's just an incredible story. It's just horrible.
It's an absolute shame.
Do you think you know people who were on the floors that were hit?
You just pray with the evacuated people. Unfortunately, the evacuated people, both sides of the World Financial Center. I don't know if if you're talking, talking about the other side. We were by the water, by the ferries and Moran's in that area. You just hope the people on the other side, they've actually evacuated them out, and that's the fear, I guess, with this building here. You just see the fire, like 20 stories. You're worried about the building giving out, and it did.
How far away from the building were you when it collapsed?
I was right by where the people get on for the ferry, right next to Moran's, to the right of Moran's.
So 10 blocks, 20 blocks?
10 blocks away, and then there was a decent crowd, and that's when everyone just dispersed.
Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you. I appreciate it. What's your name?
All right, Rick Leventhal.
Where are you from?
With Fox News Channel.
As Rick Leventhal continues to report from the streets of Manhattan, as this devastation occurs and continues to unfold, and you can see on the right-hand side of your screen, there is only one.
Can they hear?
There you're listening to the Fox News Channel, their coverage of the catastrophe. But I must say, and I hate to say this, but we had eyewitness reports earlier on that the World Trade Center being 110 stories high, there were people who were falling from the windows and who were jumping. Let's listen to this interview from Rick Leventhal.
We thought the building was going to topple over. It was going so.
Well, one of them did.
One of them did. We were in Tower 1. We made it out.
Well, you're a lucky man.
Thank you very much. Okay, thanks.
All right, take care.
Clearly, this is a nationwide catastrophe, but folks...
Rick Leventhal talking to several eyewitnesses down there. That looks like another gentleman.
Call your loved ones. If you have any other way, perhaps email. If you have any other way of contacting
we're not listening to the interview on Fox News Channel, so we'll come back.
James, can I just step in 1 second? We do have reports that the State Department has been hit.
So virtually every important office building in Washington State, Treasury,
yes.
Too late for the Pentagon because the attack has already hit there, but that is being evacuated as well.
And we should mention that the New York City Fire Department is appealing to anyone who's off duty or on vacation. Please, if you're a fire person, please report to work immediately. They need your help. Obviously, after we saw the planes hit the building, we kind of thought everything was over. It's not over. The one tower has collapsed. People on the ground are getting hurt, if not killed. The story just seems not to be anywhere near ending.
Well, listen to this.
Flying out of the sky and you can't do nothing about it. You tell me. You tell me what you think. I mean, my heart's in my mouth. I mean, I pray for these people. There's no words to describe what's going on out there. I mean, you see bodies just coming a half hour later, still coming out of the goddamn sky. Devastating. Devastating. I can't imagine anything worse than this. There's got to be. I can't imagine. You know, everybody on the plane must have died. The floor, I got friends of mine on 104th floor, friends on other buildings. I just spoke to one of my friends a half hour prior to that, getting ready to go upstairs to go to work. It's devastating. I mean, I've seen a lot of construction accidents. I've seen a lot of bad things happen. Never seen a jet fall out of the sky into a building, no less once, but twice. Devastating.
I want to bring into the conversation.
We'll just add to what that gentleman said, that there is reason to feel that way, because he mentioned the plane must have been fully occupied. We're told that there were 158 passengers and a crew of 9 or 10 aboard that plane, so that's just for openers, a number of people killed. And again, we've had eyewitnesses telling us that people were falling from the upper floors, were jumping out the upper floors in apparent panic. So it is, by any stretch of the imagination, a terrible, terrible tragedy. We're also told that an organization that calls itself the Democratic Front for the Liberation of Palestine is claiming responsibility.
Now, do you wonder if they have any connection to Osama bin Laden? I've heard that they don't.
I don't know.
I don't know if that's been confirmed. Right.
Have you heard?
I've never heard of that outfit before either, but I wonder if they have any.
Front for, yes.
Right.
No, the name is familiar. I have heard the name mentioned before.
But I believe they don't have any connection to Osama bin Laden. But you know what? This is all unconfirmed right now. I think what goes through your mind is, how did this slip past the FBI? How did this slip past the FBI? With all these different attacks in 2 different states, maybe our expert here.
The FBI, what does the CIA do?
The question you raised before we went off and saw some of the interviews was, would they be criticized for it? And the answer is, hindsight's always wonderful to say what we should have done, and probably they and other intelligence gatherers will be criticized. What you have to do, if you want to stop this, what you really have to do is infiltrate these organizations very early on. You can't put somebody in once it happens. You have to put them in, as the city police did years and years ago, and let them come up through the ranks. And that was stopped. Courts said you can't do that because we have to protect rights, and we don't do it. And what we have to now rethink and rebalance is what kind of restrictions we're going to suffer, which we have to in order to stop this. You can't take a person or stop a person from committing suicide. That gets proved in all over the Mideast every day of the week now, it seems. But we ought to be able to better restrict and better confront the people who are causing this, and we're not doing that.
Well, short of changing the Constitution, how do you go about it?
Well, you don't have to violate the Constitution necessarily to find out what people are doing. There's a right of privacy and there's an expectation of privacy, but that doesn't mean you can't have people infiltrate the groups. It means you're going to have to spend a considerable amount of time, effort, manpower, womanpower getting into these groups and gathering intelligence. And it means you're going to have to give up some of the things that the Constitution may or may not protect, but you need to do in order to protect people.
A friend of mine works for the FBI. He's, you know, out in the field. He's an agent. And he tells me all the time that he's on surveillance outside people's houses who are known terrorists or possible terrorists. And they're constantly watching these people. So what I'm asking again is, how did this slip by? I mean, we can say, you know, 20/20 hindsight, but this was obviously a synchronized planned attack on 2 states.
But are they watching the people in this country or the people in other countries?
Oh my goodness, look at the screen.
Goodness.
Oh my God.
Oh. Both towers down.
Oh my God.
I hope they evacuated everybody out of that area, because
World's history, the smoke and debris from this collapse undoubtedly causing yet more mayhem, more death, more destruction.
You're hearing unedited live sounds from the scene of that crash. The collapse of the tallest building in New York.
one of the great symbols of New York, if not this country, if not the world, forever erased from our memory.
No, I think it will always be in our memory, that's for sure, but definitely erased from our skies. This is just unbelievable.
A live picture from Chopper 5 showing the collapse of the World Trade Center.